Full disclaimer ahead, apologies for the voice. The mother of all allergy attacks is hitting me like a freight train out of hell. But I mustered up enough courage to get myself out to the theater with Mrs. Taco today, Wednesday, someday in March, to check out the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves Fan Event in IMAX at our local AMC. What comprises of the fan event, you ask? Let me show you. Those who participated in showing up to the fan event got a cloth map of Neverwinter. And this is a solid map. I mean, this is...
You know what that feels like? For those of you who wear glasses, it feels like those glasses wipes that, like,
oh, yeah,
your glasses comes with.
It's even cut like it as well.
That's very strange.
This is a solid map. I mean, I'm going to hold it up here for a second. This is a gorgeous map. This is extremely well detailed. Very, very happy with it. No fan event is complete without exclusive poster fan art. And this is gorgeous. This is a gorgeous piece of art right here. I love this. This is premium. Now, as wonderful as these things are, they even had a D20 popcorn bucket that was available as well. Thing was gorgeous. It really was. But as you can see from behind me, I don't have any space for that.
No
because
room.
That thing was huge. Plus, I'm saving space for whatever Indiana Jones has.
No.
Now that we got that part out of the way, another disclaimer, minor spoilers ahead. We're not going to go into anything super crazy or anything super deep. We're going to leave some of the surprises to be discovered like we discovered ourselves. So, Dungeons & Dragons, right? It could have gone one of two ways. It could have been extremely successful. It could have been something that kind of subverts the genre, has fun with it, knows how goofy it is. Kind of like the Jumanji movies with Dwayne Johnson, you know, and really understand just what they want to be. Or it could have taken itself so seriously, like Warcraft. I like Warcraft as a movie. Takes itself way too seriously. No offense, bro. You're goofy. You need to be goofy. So, where does Dungeons & Dragons fall? Luckily, it knows what it wants to be. It knows how goofy it is, and it has fun being goofy. This is a silly movie. It's over the top, it's corny, but at the same time, it also never loses its sense of its own reality and itself. It never stretches past the boundaries of what is capable in that world for the sake of a joke, for the sake of the plot, for the sake of the story. The jokes and the humor and things like that are natural for the characters. If they're bumbling around and they're clumsy, then it fits within the character and it causes the situations to happen and the humor is natural. If they're stoic, if they're straight-faced, and they, you know, something that they think is absolutely dead serious, like throwing a potato to some epic orchestral music, that's hilarious to us, but that is a life or death moment for them. This movie is brilliant like that. But then again, what else could you possibly expect from the guys behind the Vacation reboot sequel with Ed Helms and Game Night with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams? They're smart. They know the kind of movie that they're making. They know your expectations and they're here to subvert them. But no matter how strong your writing is, no matter how strong your directing is, no matter the kind of world that you want to build in your head, you have to have players that are ready to play the game with you and play by any rule that you set out. This is a weird cast, okay?
Yeah, it's an interesting mix.
5 years ago, if you would have told me that Chris Pine and Dom's girlfriend and Pikachu's son and the little girl from It are going to be in a movie with Hugh Grant, I would have said no.
And shout out to the little girl, well, I don't know how old she is, probably a teenager, to the chick who is the daughter in Adam Driver's 64 movie.
65.
83. And the daughter she plays in this movie with Christopher Maloney Pine. Great job, you know. She's killing it as the daughter.
Yeah, and her too. I mean, honestly, this cast is crazy, and it actually somehow gets crazier. Again, we are not going to go too deep into spoilers because the fun is experiencing it fresh. But they work well together. I mean, the main relationship of the movie, oddly enough, is Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, and they feel like brother and sister. They feel like those two co-workers who want to burn the building down, but only if they hold hands and do it together. I mean, they're great. They have a great chemistry. And then as we start pulling other people into the mix, people that we've seen before in flashbacks and things like that, the old crew, everybody meshes so well together. New people that we meet, they start meshing in there as well.
Everybody has their own like character arc, and it's really nice to see.
Yes,
and it's not dragged out. Like it's within the story, which is nice.
It's true. I mean, this is one of those kind of old school adventure movies where all of these characters we meet along the way, they are important, they serve a purpose. This is just a fun movie. This is a throwback to those old school adventure movies that we used to get from like the 70s and the 80s. With like Mel Brooks style humor. It's a good time, and the cast plays it up very well. So, if the cast is good with the writing and the humor, then they have to be good in the action department, right? Wrong. No, I'm kidding. No, they are solid when it comes to the action department. No, I mean, of course, Michelle Rodriguez gets probably the most to do for the action. Her character is more of like the rough and tumble, like beat 'em up kind of person.
And I would even say the guy from Bridgerton, in his duration of the film, like I feel like he does pretty well. So it's like not everybody, like there's not a lot of action, but the action that is there, it's like not just action because there needs to be action. It's action with a purpose, which is nice because they're not just throwing random like scenes in that really don't, like fights that don't really need to happen.
We're not watching The Transporter, okay? Where Jason
This
Statham
isn't John
goes to
Wick
the... Okay, no, there is. The action here, like Mrs. Taco said, it's not a lot of action, to be honest with you. It's a decent length movie, about 2 hours, 15 minutes, give or take.
Doesn't feel like
There's one mid-credit scene, which adds take it or leave it, honestly. But the action, though, there's enough in there, of course, to keep the little ones interested and things like that, but it's handled so well. In fact, there are 2 action scenes which stand out in my mind. I'll briefly go over. Now, I don't want to go too deep into spoilers. The first one involves a shapeshifter, and it's a single take action scene, and it's fun, and it's inventive, and I love how still, after all of these movies, after all of these decades, a century later after the beginning of film, we are still coming up with fun and exciting ways to get creative with these takes, these long takes, these single tracking shots, and things like that. It's great. And then we have another tracking shot, another single take at the end where everybody really comes into their own as the hero that they're supposed to be. I mean, it's a fun movie. This is a movie that knows what it wants to be, and they don't hold back. The dialogue is like 90% modern day with like 10% old timiness thrown into it.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
But it works.
It works so well.
This is really a fun one that you could take like really anybody. Like it's like a date movie. It could also be like just going out with friends. It could be a whole family movie, or if you just want to go by yourself.
There's
like
something in there for everyone. And here is another ringing endorsement: the level of exposure that at least for me, that I have to Dungeons & Dragons starts and stops with Stranger Things. That's it. I haven't touched Dungeons & Dragons a day in my life. I know of some of the imagery, and that is it. This movie meshed with me so well. And that's a plus, because that's something that some movies fail. That's what Warcraft failed at. I'm not a Warcraft player in the slightest, and it didn't connect with me as much, even though I enjoyed the world. So, take that as another ringing endorsement. Again, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is out. Yeah, I mean, it's out. Apparently, it's out everywhere. We saw it in IMAX for the fan screening. No expanded ratio. But, the sound, the volume, everything like that, it was killer. It did go well with it. I'm sure that this would look good in Dolby. There's some moments of really gorgeous looking color in there.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. Just go standard. It's really not that big of a deal.
If you guys had a chance to check it out, let us know down in the comments below whether that was at the Amazon screening or the fan event screening, or if you're a future traveler who came back in time to tell us that you saw it tomorrow. How am I doing in the future? And until next time, guys, this has been VHS Taco signing off. I'm going to go ahead and let Mrs. Taco go to sleep while I book us some tickets for Dolby, but tell her it's for a totally different movie.
What?
Adios.
Bye.
As we made our way up there, I was excited, scanned the tickets and everything like that. And then I got my popcorn. I'm standing there staring at the concession worker like this. And she said, "Okay, go enjoy your movie." And I said, "Okay, I'm here for the fan event." And she said, "Good for you." And I was like, I'm going to need that poster and that map. Oh, for what? That's for a special event. And I'm like, yes, I know. Long story
It was
short,
a long day.
it took about 7 minutes to get a hold of this. I wanted to just John Wick over the counter, grab it myself, and then wick back. Hey, concession workers, I know you've had a long day.
It's
No
been a long
disrespect.
day. You guys are awesome.
You're awesome.
And shout out to the little girl who was also in the...